Good autumn. Welcome to Survivors Poetry again. Well, last time I remember being on a blustery roof up in Bickerton Road in Archway. This time I'm actually in my own flat in Hove. Survivors Poetry has undergone a great deal of change recently. Partly it's developed, restructured and vectored itself into a tiny office in London, which has been enormously helpful, and I'm down here in my flat talking to a variety of people and interviews with people who, frankly, I've not actually managed to interview before, and I'm really happy to do it. We've got Disability Arts Online coming up soon, and apart from the fact that we tried a few shots outdoors and weren't able to get it because of the distraction of the wind, we've got a lot of other people upcoming, and a lot of relationships forged very recently with National Poetry Day and Colin Hambrook's launch in Chichester that really makes Survivors Poetry a vibrant corner of not just London but also the South East. With Disability Arts Online, we've also got the Outside In Studio, which has a range of galleries that are up for survivor art, outsider art, and indeed poetry readings. Studio is not the right word for them. They're an extraordinary national-based organisation, as indeed are the smaller Felpham Blake Big Break Project, which is a really impressive small is beautiful homeopathic reach of mentoring for people who obviously understand mental distress all too well, Blake being a kind of patron saint of survivor poetry generally. This nexus, this meeting up, brokered through Disability Arts Online and Colin Hambrook and Trish Weekly, has been a hallmark of several things that are happening at Survivors. One of the big things is Poetry Express, and Dave Russell has done an amazing job recently of sorting what he sees as material tripling the content and not vitiating it. He's been agitating for this for a while, and to be honest, we thought, well, the actual work, the content, it needs to be beautifully worked like a maquette with coloured pages everywhere. In fact, it's the content that has to rule, and we've got beautifully ordered, a bit more white-spaced monthly bulletins. These are Poetry Expresses of 50 pages length, and they are remarkable not only for the content, but now, because they can be done monthly, they also have a production value involving very rapid uptake, a far greater sense of happening events as they happen, an ephemerality that they didn't have before because they couldn't afford it. But that really means not so much that they won't be of use a few months or years down the line, but an archival possibility. For instance, Colin Hambrook, the launch in Chichester, the Bristol Survivors issue, and so on and so forth. In other words, we can be much more flexible, rapid in response, and as far as I can see, to be honest, infinitely better able to reach the communities we were trying to groups and the regional groups they had before. These people now can, in a sense, as Bristol have done and as Chichester and the South East are doing, saying, we'd like a whole issue devoted to Poetry Express. We've had ones recently for the Greek issue and for others too, but there's more than that. And as far as we can see now, that we have an infinite basically potential for allowing a national reach of 12, 15 groups to get in there, to submit our material and to turn it around as a monthly issue. Survivors not only moved to its small office, it's also got an infinitely flexible way of surviving without this extraordinary amount of core funding, in the sense that we don't know where we're going to be with the Arts Council in about a few months' time, and with operational costs slashed to a minimum. We've saved about, to be honest, £45,000 in doing all this, and I wish we'd had it a lot earlier. As it happens, well, we've got it now, and whatever happens in the future, Survivors, with its archives, is going to thrive in a way that, with its flexible response, its greater focus on the website, and the beautiful shot photographs and stills, as well as very good interviews, is going to make this a really vibrant place for people to click on a button and see. A lot of things about Survivors Poetry can be said. One, that Disability Arts Online, carrying out several of its own surveys, have discovered that people are marking up things on phone, they're uploading in a way they never did before. Poetry's been the most resistant of mediums to any form of production, anything outside paper. That's changing a little bit. It's not bad, but on the whole it's doing pretty well in the electronic field. It's beginning to age in. Survivors too, who are a little bit more resistant to that, even the normal poetry readers, are doing the same thing. So normal being a particularly operative term in the poetry world. So what do we have here? Well, everything is a click away from most people. We still have to reach other people too. But Survivors, with its capacity for reaching out, for involving people in a rapid turnaround it's never had before, and in particularly its engagement and reach in interviewing other organisations we're working with directly, and you'll be seeing some of that very soon, is going to be a place where activity, support, attacks on ATOS, which is Disability Arts Online, that we discussed recently in an aborted film, unfortunately. The blustering actually aborted that completely, and many others, is going to make Survivors far more in the campaigning mode than it started out in. I hope sometime to have people like Joe Bidder and one or two other people too, who are founders of the organisation, and as indeed Colin Hembrook was an early signatory of, to come in and to talk about their experiences and their hopes for the future. Thanks very much.